Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today is just going to be a revisitation on a pretty previous video that I made yesterday in how $50,000 may be the top for Bitcoin. What I really should have, looking back at it now, what I really should have phrased it as is that 50,000 may be the local top for Bitcoin. I don't want people to get in the impression that I think 50K is the macro top or the macro peak for this cycle. Matter of fact, I think it's a lot higher when it and potentially can range between 80 and 100 and 25,000 dollars by the end of this peak. Um, do I think that's going to come next year? I don't think so, for a number of reasons. However, if the trend continues like this for another year, which I strongly suggest it won't, but if it did, then we would be reaching $80,000, fairly shortly. So, going back to $50,000, $50,000, I said in my previous video using the RSI, the distance between the moving averages, of how that could be the macro, the local peak for Bitcoin. We are simply extremely overextended, but Bitcoin can stay overextended for a long period of time. You can see all of 2017, half of its RSI cycle was overbought. So you can't tell me uh, that as soon as it becomes overbought, Bitcoin will retrace. We've seen in the past that this is just not the case. When it becomes extremely precarious is when we get to these higher numbers. So like in the 90s, and in our case, we're in the mid 90s. We're in 95.22, and we see that the previous in 2013 RSI peaks, we saw 97 and 90, 98, 99 on the RSI. So, what could this mean? Well, it could mean a local top is coming, a 50K, before some kind of retracement happens, whether that's a 20%, 30%, you know, uh, e- even straight down to the 20 week, which would be like a 50% correction back down if we went down to the 20 week, 57%. I don't know how big the correction's going to be. There are arguments to say that if the price of Bitcoin gets too high above the 20-week moving average, we are unable to hold it. Case in being 2019 and the peak of 2017, we saw percentages over 100%. In 2017's case, it was 183%. In 2019, when you measure it from the peak, it was just over 100%. Where we are right now is, I believe we're still at 100, over 100%. We're 137% above the 20 week. These indicate that either a correction is coming, a reversal, or B, that we're simply too overextended above the 20-week moving average for it to hold. I think the latter is more true. I I think that we are in a bull market. It's very hard to tell if we are, but looking at the chart, it really says bull market. However, if the 20-week breaks, then the party's over, at least for now. And that's the thing that we have to understand, is that if the 20-week breaks, then we could potentially see a prolonged period of this reversal occurring with Bitcoin. And if that's the case, then our altcoin positions will surely bleed. The one scenario that I think is works the best with Bitcoin is that or two, we either hold the 20 week, either by going straight down, or we move sideways then down. And if it's the latter, then the 20-week moving average will slowly catch up. The distance to the moving average shortens, the RSI is going to probably go down, and we get that contact with the 20 week that we are expecting. if that is the case, then I think the plan is still the same. The trend will still continue, not to this degree, but it will go up, and that is bullish for Bitcoin and bullish for altcoins. All eyes are on Bitcoin right now. I know altcoin positions are, looking good right now. Link is about 5% up. Basic attention tokens above 5. Cardano's at 6.5. It's a green VeChain's at 7.5. It's a green day for altcoins. However, I say that Q1's for altcoins, but here we are at $40,000 on Bitcoin with an RSI of 95 and a percentage over the 20-week moving average of above 100. This is pretty testy for Bitcoin, and I think because of that, it is testy for altcoins. And it really depends if alt season is to continue. If you would argue that alt season has already begun with the moves of Ethereum, then for it to continue, Bitcoin needs to be above the 20-week moving average at the very least. It just has to. If it breaks through, I don't think that's not a good move for Bitcoin. As we've seen in the past here, it means a retracement. What we might see is something along the lines of like the 2013 cycle, where we got up pretty high above the 20-week moving average. We got up to a 99 on the RSI. We moved sideways and they broke down. We broke below the 20-week and then we came back up. And this is a very interesting pattern because this is probably the shortest amount of time that we've been below the 20-week and for the trend to still look macro bullish. Right? Every single time we've broke below the 20-week, like here for example, we came back down, came up, but ultimately we continued our way down on the chart. On 2017 is the quintessential one that we all remember. When we broke below the 20-week, we came straight down to $3,000, $3,300. That is it. So keep an eye on Bitcoin. It can correct. It will correct. We don't know when, and we don't know how much. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you how much or when it's going to happen. All I can show you is the indicators, what the price looks, and what and try to speculate that this is what we're experiencing right now. And when looking at past price history in similar situations, what Bitcoin has done. And what Bitcoin has done every single time is retrace. For the people who say that there's no more dips, they are wrong. They are wrong. It's stupidly insane to have that kind of mentality. Even assets, like $10 trillion assets dip. So, and Bitcoin's not even close to that. Volatility is still high even for Bitcoin. 20% corrections are on the card, 30% corrections are on the cards, 50% corrections are on the cards. We've never seen a 50% correction in 2017. The only time that we went above 40 was here at the peak. We dropped down 50% and it ultimately broke the camel's back. In 2013, I believe it was higher. So it's about 43% from the candle body, but to the wick, we're looking at a 60% correction. Drops happen, and you must be aware that it happens, and you need to be okay for it to happen, right? So this is my outlook, at least with Bitcoin. I'm not buying any more Bitcoin. I'm not buying any more altcoins. The portfolio I have is the one that I'm going to keep for the time being until we know what Bitcoin's going to do. In my previous video, I gave it 2 weeks. If the trend continues for 2 weeks, we're going to be at 100 on the RSI. If that's the case, um, trailing stops I'm going to set for Bitcoin, and I already have a trailing stop on Ethereum right now, and I will ride it as high as it's going to go. Now, these trailing stops are not going to be all my position. I am not selling all my Bitcoin, and I'm not selling all my Ethereum. Even though I think the correction is coming, I believe still that it will still be macro bullish. So I'm essentially taking profits for where it is, and then once Bitcoin corrects, we'll see where when the dust settles, we'll see where it's at. You know, if it ends up okay, so say I put a trailing stop loss at say $35,000, and say Bitcoin does correct, it triggers my stop, it sells at 35. Fine. After the dust settles, we'll see how far Bitcoin corrects. Is it 10%, 20%? Did we break past the 20 week? All these things, all these scenarios are important because it'll then determine what my next moves are. If we're below the 20 week, or anywhere further, like any degree below the 20 week, then I'm probably going to readjust my positions, uh, moving more of my altcoins into stable coins and Bitcoin. That's what I'd first do. And then I'd wait. And then I'd probably, at that point, the longer Bitcoin is below the 20 week, I start buying Bitcoin. Like that's essentially what it's going to be. Um, However, if it breaks down 20, like 10%, I I don't do anything. I wait. I wait more. I don't buy any. I don't sell any. It sucks that I sold at 35, but uh, in the end, in the off chance that it broke down even further, it's peace of mind, and I still make money. So for you guys, keep an eye on Bitcoin. Have your stops ready if you want. I mean, you could just look at the price 24/7 and then just sell where you want, I guess, if you see the price correct, or just hold. Maybe this entire extension doesn't really matter to you because you're not looking to sell for another 5 years. If that's the case, I don't know why you're watching like a trading video, because it really doesn't apply in your case because none of this matters, right? We're looking at trends for the next couple of years, not for 5 years. I don't know what the price of Bitcoin's going to be in 5 years, and I'm not going to say that I do. Um, so um, I hope that clears things up. I hope that my message across of what the top might be is a little clearer. Um, $50,000 might be the local top before a correction. And after that correction, we will then see what Bitcoin does next. Does it continue the trend? Does it break below the 20 week? Does it ride the 20 week? All these scenarios are important of determining if this is going to be like another repeat of 2019 where we did get above the 20 week but we broke back down, and then we had another correction before another leg up. Who knows? But uh, uh, subscribe, like the video. I'm going to be here every step of the way of this cycle at least. Um, and I kind of just want to like document all of this and provide you guys the best information that I can in regards to Bitcoin and other digital currency assets. Thank you all for watching, you guys. Take care. Bye bye.